Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm your host, Tamara. Today we are discussing the latest Mercy Thompson series release, Book 14, Winter Lost. If you'd like to see this in video format without commercials, you'll need to head on over to Patreon and sign up. There's a ton of content there for you to watch, including after shows, reading vlogs, and more. If you're listening on the Spreaker podcast app, by signing up as a supporter, you also have access to the after show and other exclusive content in audio-only format. So if you prefer all things video, including reading vlogs, you'll need to head on over to Patreon and sign up. You can also join me and my two co-hosts over on the Book Club's app for even more bookish chats. Please subscribe and like the podcast wherever you're listening. If you want to reach out to me, you can find me pretty much everywhere at Shelf Addiction. Joining me today is feature co-host Casey from Heart Full of Ink. Welcome back, Casey.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here.
Yay, I'm glad you're here. It's going to be a good one,
Yes.
I think.
Oh, yes.
Please tell everyone where they can find you online.
You can find me on Facebook at Heartful of Ink, on Instagram at Casey_Heartful of Ink, or on my website, heartfulofink.com.
Okay, so as always, I have to give a spoiler warning with book chats because we talk full spoilers here. We will tell you the villain who did it. Full spoiler
Yes.
alert, you've been warned. Okay, so today we are discussing Book 14, Winter Lost, written by Patricia Briggs, narrated by Lorelei King, published June 18th, 2024 by Ace and Penguin Audio. The hardcover comes in at 416 pages, and the unabridged audio is 11 hours and 15 minutes. Casey, would you kindly read the synopsis?
Mercy Thompson, car mechanic and shapeshifter, must stop a disaster of world-shattering proportions in this exhilarating entry in the #1 New York Times best-selling series. In the supernatural realms, there are creatures who belong to winter. I am not one of them, but like the coyote I can become at will, I am adaptable. My name is Mercy Thompson Hauptman, and my mate, Adam, is the werewolf who leads the Columbia Basin Pack, the pack charged with keeping the people who live and work in the Tri-Cities of Washington State safe. It's a hard job, and it doesn't leave much room for side quests, which is why, when I needed to travel to Montana to help my brother, I intended to go by myself. But I'm not alone anymore. Together, Adam and I find ourselves trapped with strangers in a lodge in the heart of the wilderness, in the teeth of a storm of a legendary power, only to discover my brother's issues are just part of a problem that's much bigger than we imagined. Arcane and ancient magics are at work that could, unless we are very careful, bring about the end of the world.
Okay.
Yay!
So before we begin, we do want to let you guys know this episode is not sponsored by the publisher in any way, shape, or form. Not at all. Although they did send us a hard copy of the finished book, which we are very grateful and thankful for because we adore this series.
Yes.
And also because I love audiobooks, I went and purchased the audiobook in addition so I could listen as well. So that was not gifted to me. So you, as always, are fair, unbiased opinion because we are not being paid.
Yes.
All right. What did you think when you finished the book, high level?
I loved it. I thought that she is back on track after Soul Taken. I'm still not very happy with Soul Taken, but I kind of like that she hasn't let it go. It's still festering, for a better word. It was very different because she had hopped a lot more in this book than any other book, and I was really excited to see the new dynamics and new stuff going on. I loved it, and that's me.
The things you loved, I didn't love.
Of course.
So let me break it
Yes.
down this way. I loved that she was healed at the end.
Mhm.
I love that we're ready to move on from Soul Taken pretty much.
Yes.
You know, because that was traumatic what happened to her in that book. And of course, objects have affected her in this way that's just, blah. So I was happy about that.
Mhm.
At first, I liked the head hopping, but I think it kind of took away from keeping me fully engaged in what was happening with Mercy.
That makes sense.
And Also, so as I said, I got the audiobook and I praised the author extremely when she got us into Adam's Head for Silence Fallen because she also had a male narrator on the audiobook.
Yes.
It was amazing and jarring and delicious.
Yes.
And while Lorelai King is the business, she is the business. We've been listening to her for most of this series, 99.9% of this series. I was extremely disappointed that we had no male narrator.
Ooh, yeah.
Especially when there are so many POVs that are from men.
Yes.
Why didn't we have it?
Yes.
That was my biggest disappointment, was the audiobook. I'm like, why? Why didn't we get it?
If I had listened to the audiobook, I would be disappointed right there with you, because I don't think one person could do this. I was sitting here thinking, I can't wait until we have the graphic audio with the whole cast doing this book. That's going to be incredible.
Now, the graphic audio will probably be good because, again, they're going to use probably multiple men, multiple women.
Oh, yes.
But even just the baseline audiobook, it needed 2 narrators.
Yes.
It needed 2, a man and a woman, and we didn't get it. And that was a big letdown with multiple POV jumping. With that said, this is a book for the devoted fans. This is a book for the hardcore fans, which is us. It was necessary. But this is not a book that I would say you're brand new, you can just start here. Don't do it.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So that's what I think high level. And I have a lot of other things to say.
Go for it, babe. Just do it. Rip into it.
Okay, so I gotta be honest. Okay, I'm gonna say this probably 30 times. Y'all know, if you listen to this podcast, you know we love these books. These books are pretty much our gold standard. We compare a lot of books to this.
Yes.
We compare a lot of like plot devices and how they execute it to this. This is the gold standard. But my God, this book was so slow to me.
Really?
It took me way longer to finish this than it ever took any other book in this entire series. It was slow. I'm like, when are things going to pick up? It just never really hit the gas for me. The whole time we're like at going 40 miles an hour. I didn't feel at any point we were speeding. Not once.
So not in the beginning, like when Ymir, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, when he had Mary Jo under his control and all of that drama was going down.
Look,
like none of that.
The drama was there good. The drama there was good. I felt the rage coming off of Adam.
Oh.
I felt all the feelings there, but the pacing was still slow. The pacing.
See,
I couldn't quite understand why I felt that way, but I don't know.
I have felt that her last few books, like Storm Taken and Smoke Bitten, and especially Soul Taken. I guess it's Storm Curse and Soul Taken.
Storm Curse, yeah.
Yeah, sorry guys. Soul Taken, that one was slow. And I thought comparatively, this one is better because there was more action, there was more diversity. It's not us just slowly wandering around and, opening every single book to check things out.
Book, cabinet, and door.
That was slow. Yeah. I thought like she had finally started picking up her pace again after the last few books being kind of slow. Like this one felt a little more, not super actiony like we've had in the past, but I thought this one felt more like previous books than Soul Taken did.
I like Soul Taken better.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I don't. I like this one better than Soul Taken.
We feel opposite about these two books.
Yeah.
Now, Soul Taken, though, just a refresh, if you guys didn't catch our recap or anything, or even our last review, that's available on the podcast feed. I gave Soul Taken 4 out of 5. And I was surprised that I gave it a 4 out of 5, but that's how I felt about it. Do you remember what you gave Soul Taken?
I do not remember. My brain is not working right now.
You're not there. It's fine. So I was like, wow, I didn't love Soul Taken. It definitely didn't hit the 5-star
Mhm.
that these books normally get. But I'm really having a problem with, okay, so first, we already said there's a lot of head hopping here. We're we're in everyone got a little piece of the pie, seems like.
Yes.
To top that, the story, the interludes, it kind of feels slightly non-linear.
Oh, they were definitely non-linear. You had to pay careful attention to when things were happening.
I know, but I don't like that in this book, in this series, because I feel like, generally speaking, with the exception of finding out historical information, this series has been pretty straightforward, I think. There's not a whole lot of that to me in this series as a whole, of course. And of course, obviously, like I said, the exception is when you're trying to find out what happened in the past, right? And I don't think I liked the back and forth, time-wise and character-wise. It was just a little too much. Although I understand what she was going for with the story, I understand why that would make sense. But I'm not sure if it could have been done without it and been better.
Yeah. See, I liked it because so often, when Coyote is around and we're talking about him and he's, has all these plans and games and this long-term this and this and that. And, this felt like we finally got to see, okay, he's had this plan in motion for almost a year. We got to see what he was doing with Gary. We got to see how he changed his game. Like, I thought it was
the plan was murky. I couldn't understand the plan. I had to go back and I really tried to comprehend, well, when did the plan start? When did the plan change? I thought it was murky. I was not like, oh, this makes sense. I was more like, oh,
it never made sense until the very end. Spoiler alert, when Mercy was laying in bed talking to Hugo right before she shot him. As she was telling the story and laying it out, that's when I went, oh, it clicks for me. And then everything fell into place and it made sense.
Yeah, I still had to go back and reread that part. I did. I'm like, okay, I got it now. I get it, but I still feel like it was the absolute most amount of work ever. The plan was so convoluted, and at least the plan worked.
But, okay, so there was that one snippet from Coyote early on in the book. It was half a page where he saw Gary was safe and he was like, when did I start caring about my children? This is different for me. And I was like, he's doing something to help Mercy. So I knew from that moment, this was going to end well for Mercy because her not dad, is suddenly here for her and he cares more than he has ever cared before. So I don't know. I really liked it. And I liked that little hint that we got.
So what I did we're talking about Coyote and, Gary, and I like that, Patricia Briggs has always been a master of refreshing what's going on without info dumping us, So we got a lot of historical what happened that what led us here kind of things. That was really important. And even to the extent that we went back, last episode, we talked about Coyote being her father, but not her father. Like her father, but not.
Yeah.
He physically took control of someone else's body that wasn't him really, but it was. It was the strangest thing, but it even got revisited here. Again, it's kind of gray.
Yeah.
Spiritually, that's your daddy.
It's weird because he created Joe Old Coyote and then he died and he was only really in existence for 2 years, but in an adult male the whole time. And then he died and just became Coyote again.
Yeah, it's strange.
It's strange.
It's the woo-woo stuff, right? It's the little woo-woo. It's fine. Like, you just roll with it.
There's a lot of woo-woo.
There was a lot in general and in this book, which I don't know, just something I can't just pinpoint it and say, here, this is my problem.
That's okay. Like, you don't have to love every book she writes, and not everything is going to fit with what you like. You know, we talk about this with every book series we read. Sometimes we jive with it, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we rip books apart, and sometimes we forgive them. Like, that's the case of being a reader.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, you know, she tried something new. I love it. And it didn't work for you. And that's okay.
Which makes me scared. Are we in for more of this? Is this the new style, or was this a one-off? I'm a little scared.
Honestly, I think this was more of a one-off because she needed, you know, we needed to know more about Zane for the wedding. So we added all of those people in, which asterisk, there's a story there. She added the stuff about Adam working with Z. And I think that might become more important because Adam is getting stronger and we need that.
Which I love.
Way. Oh, yeah. No, I think
I love that.
Going forward, we're going to have more jumping back and forth between Adam and Mercy and having Adam tell half the story. I don't think we might necessarily see more. Or she's setting up for spinoffs because maybe Daryl leaves, or maybe Sherwood and Warren become best friends, because I thought that was really cute of them. Like, there is so much she can do with this world, and I personally, like, I enjoyed getting to see everybody do their own thing.
And I do agree with you. This could be a setup because we clearly, and even Mercy says, look, we left and everyone managed. Everything worked out. Daryl was able, here, Daryl and Honey took care of this, you know, and they took care of that and everything. Hey, we're not as important as we thought we were, which was kind of cool to see them be able to leave the pack and let them work independently of them for a change. Although they still had Sherwood, and Sherwood's power, just a part of that pack, is just a whole nother monster.
Yep.
Which is, I'm like, okay, here we go. So everyone now, even Daryl, poor Daryl. He's like, why are you leaving me in charge? Why am I doing this? Why you ask him? Like, why don't you just ask him?
It took him 14 fucking books, but he has finally admitted that Warren is stronger than him.
He did. He admitted it, and now he's concerned about Sherwood.
Yep.
Hell, even Warren, when he goes to help Sherwood after the car accident, he's like, what the fuck he want?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like,
why does he want me? Is this going to be a dominance fight?
I know. He's like, what is happening? Everyone is aware. They're fully aware. There's no hiding it anymore. And especially, he's pulling on the pack bonds and the strength, pulling strength, asking for strength. And of course, Sherwood helps. And it's like this blast rush of power he doesn't even know how to handle. It's like, wow, he's so powerful. It's
so
crazy.
Powerful. It is crazy.
Yeah.
But he likes being not the alpha. He likes not being in charge. He gets to go do his own thing.
Yeah, he's the muscle. Actually, he probably, if Daryl ended up leaving, I guess he could be the new number 2.
But would he want to? Because, like, Adam told Daryl, number 2 is the person who cooks breakfast on Sundays. He's the one who takes care of people. Sherwood likes to be alone. Sherwood likes to hang out with his cat and not, you know, do Sunday brunches. That's Daryl's position.
I know, but if Daryl leaves,
I know.
Then what? There's no one to slide into that. Warren's not doing that.
He might. He's strong enough. But that's why they all need to stay. That's why Daryl needs to stay, even though he could go be his own alpha.
They all have their roles there. And Sherwood is kind of an outlier and making things a little bit more complicated than they need to be. But it's worth it because they need him.
Mm-hmm.
They have used him, or he has helped them, in a way that they really needed him a couple times over now.
Many times over. Like, he
Yeah.
has saved their hide many, many times.
Mm-hmm. So I'm curious to see what happens with that. I also kind of liked. Okay, so I'm torn on Mercy in this book.
Okay.
I feel like Mercy, she's typical Mercy for the most part, right?
Mm-hmm.
She knows how far she can push him. She argues with him, but she also still tries to protect him by lie of omission.
Yep.
So it's like she gets it, but still not quite. Which I guess maybe is status quo for her.
Yeah, no, she's not really changing her character growth. She is very much a neutral character growth person and has been for
Mm-hmm.
the last few books. And that's something that I really hope changes drastically in the next
Mm-hmm.
book, now that she is finally kind of getting over these humps and realizing that people care about her. And Adam was going around asking people like Z and Sherwood, what can we do to save her? How can we fix her? And she was shocked. She was like, what? You're asking people? And he was like, duh. What else
Like
am
you
I
would,
gonna do?
you would be asking people if it were me. Stop acting like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, she runs and talks to Bran when Adam is messed up, like she did
Mm-hmm.
in Smoke Bitten.
Yeah.
And Adam's like, no shit. I'm going to talk to Charles. I'm going to talk to Bran. I'm going to talk to Sherwood. I'm going to talk to anybody. I will even talk to any witches who
Mm-hmm.
might help you, because
Mm-hmm.
I will help you. And Mercy, I need her to pull her head out of her ass.
That is that character's biggest fault. Like
Yes.
she cannot, and it's kind of in conflict with what Adam's character says about her knowing she'll reach for help if she needs it. She won't, but she won't. She really won't.
She does for the little things, and if she's helping somebody else. If she needs help herself, she won't ask
She
for help.
won't.
But if
No.
she's trying to, okay, like book 1, when Mac showed up on her doorstep, she immediately called for help because she knew she couldn't take care of it
someone
herself.
else.
So if she's taking
Yeah.
care of somebody else, yes, she calls somebody else. She gets on the phone with somebody who can take care of it or help her or do whatever. But for
Yeah.
herself, she can't do that. And that is
Which is
starting to
kind of
get
annoying.
frustrating. That's starting to get annoying. She
Yeah.
needs to realize she's not alone. And she doesn't need to chew off her paw to escape the pack bonds or whatever she keeps saying.
When she's had these like raging headaches,
Mhm.
basically, off and on this whole book, and especially at the end, after she has that mental thing happen and she couldn't even open her eyes and look around the room,
Mhm.
and her headache is so raging, and she's like hiding it and trying not to. I'm like, man, if that was my man, I'm like, I have a fucking raging headache right now. I need you to get the fuck out.
Yes.
Like, I mean, just say that. Like, why are you doing? I don't understand. I don't understand it. And they have this incredibly close bond in some ways, but she's extremely self-absorbed in other ways,
Mhm.
to everyone else's detriment, because she just
Mhm.
doesn't want the help. It's so weird.
Yeah. It's almost, it's either going to destroy her eventually and be the reason she dies because she can't ask for help, which almost happened here. Her mind, once it got torn open again, she wasn't asking for help. And if people hadn't had the plan in place, she would have died. So yeah, no, it's either going to be for her detriment, or she's finally going to figure out, I can ask for help.
Yeah.
And I really wish she had done that in this book and really finally
Yeah.
at the end opened up to Adam instead of keeping all of the pack bonds locked down.
And I just think sometimes it may not even be asking for help per se, because she might not even know what to ask.
Yeah, but
it's sharing with him. He needs to know what is going on. And like you said, comfort. He could at least try to help you, even if he doesn't know how to fix it. he can, try to just have your back on it or suffer with
or give you some
I don't
freaking
know.
Tylenol or something.
Exactly.
Like, that's not going to do much, but let him help you.
Yeah.
But no,
it's
she had to
weird.
complain about everything. Even when he like ripped the bag and duct taped it for her so it would fit on her small coyote body. And she's like, but
she
that's
didn't
so
want him
expensive.
to help her at all.
And he's like, I don't give a shit. We have
He's like,
money.
I'll buy another one.
Yeah.
Ludicrous. So I guess I just want more growth out of Mercy. Every time she makes a step forward, she kind of just shuffles in place for a while, shuffling back a little bit. She does this like back and forth thing a little bit. She never goes all the way extreme back to the beginning, but she just kind of just hovers in this space where Adam is always talking about, I'm trying to figure out how much I can help her without pushing her away. So he says that in this book. He's like, well, I knew she wouldn't say no to this, so I'm going to do this. I know she doesn't like me in her head, so I'm going to not listen, even though I can tell something is going on there. It's so disappointing. I'm like, y'all should just be, I want them to be tight and right.
Yes.
If everything else in the world is broken, I want them not to be in any kind of way. And Mercy's character is impeding that. And that's frustrating to me.
It is frustrating. Yeah.
I would have also liked to see more of Gary. We saw him in the beginning, but I would have loved to have more scenes with him. Maybe a couple even after, since we're jumping around town, maybe we could have gotten a couple of scenes of him, coming out of the fog, or...
Well, we got the one where he woke up and he heard Mary Jo and Honey talking, and then he saw the note from his dad, Coyote, saying, Mercy's jumped in, you're free to do whatever you want to do. And then there was that scene at the end that was really cute. But
I wanted more, especially now that we know that he and Honey were talking. I want some more interaction with them. We're all around town in this book. We could have went back one more time.
Yeah, no, that would have been really cute to see them together, to see them bonding or whatever. But hopefully that's coming in the next book, because I think he's going to stick around now.
That's so cute, because he even says at the end to the Snow King or whatever, he's like, yeah, I'll stay here as long as you're here, but I gotta go. I got a girlfriend, gotta get back to you. Basically saying without saying. But I could have used more of him. So that if that means we're going to get more of him in future books,
I hope
I'm happy with it. Yeah. Because he was definitely like B or C team character that shows up once in a while. But if she's bringing him forward a little bit, I would be just fine with it.
Well, yeah, no, they still need help because shit's going down and shit's going to get worse. And they need Gary as backup.
They do. Okay, actually, I think this is a great time to take a quick break. We will check out these commercials. By listening to those commercials, you are supporting the podcast. Don't forget to check out the book review journal available right now on Amazon, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. I think I got most of my bitching out of the way.
Do you want some more fangirling now? Because there's a cool story that I want to bring up.
Sure.
Do you remember the Shifting Shadows anthology? There was a short story in there called Gray.
I do remember the short story.
That was Elena and Jack O'Malley's story.
Oh my God!
I know! They mentioned Chicago and vampires, and I was like, wait a second. So I went and got my copy of Shifting Shadows, and I read the story, and it's them.
Aww.
And Peter was her contractor helping her repair her old condo, and that's, Tammy's dad.
Wow.
So Patricia Briggs takes everything, every detail from it's like a freaking short story she wrote for her writers group, and then just brought them into Mercy's world, because that took place long before Mooncalled happened. And voila, here they are. And Mercy is maybe fixing or something, doing something to Jack.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh my God, like these characters are so intertwined. And I always wondered why she put that story in Shifting Shadows. Because that came out a long time ago.
Yeah. Maybe she was just putting those characters on the shelf to use them again later at some point. And now's the time.
But, you know, when we were doing our recap, we always talked about how, like, 6 books later, she brings up some tiny detail. And here she is bringing up these characters as, like, a subplot. But if you had read Shifting Shadows recently or remembered it, you're like, oh, shit. Here's the vampire. Here's her ghost lover who's still around 10 years later. Here's... yeah, the contractor she saved is now her friend who she's gonna, like, be at his daughter's wedding.
I wish you had texted me that, because I would have read it too. I honestly, it just, I read Shifting Shadows so long ago. But oh my God, that's so cool.
That's them. Yeah.
That's so cool. And I feel like we are going to see them again. Elena and Jack are going to be around.
Oh, definitely. No, now that Mercy has, like, almost solidified or humanized him.
Yeah.
I think, one, they now have a really good ally with the vampires. Second to Stefan, like, here's a new vampire ally who's going to tell you, yeah, you all have bounties on your head. But if anybody harms Mercy, they will be destroyed. So Mercy's technically safe.
Yeah, I mean, because you could tell Elena really takes care of the people she considers her people.
Hers.
Based on what we read in this book, you know.
In this book and in her short story.
Which I don't remember the whole short story because I haven't read it. But
no. It's like a 30-page, 40-page, like, it's short. And yeah, no, it's just a really cute short story. But so tiny, such a blip. And I was like, wait a second. I know these names. I know Chicago. Chicago's important. Why is this important? And then I was like, oh shit, she brought them back.
Oh, that is so cool. That's
so yeah.
Okay,
no,
that awesome.
That was awesome. I was a little disappointed that we didn't learn more about Charles and Anna's baby in this book, because that was my entire theory. I was like, they're going to Montana. Of course, it's going to be about the baby. And no, it's not even about the Fae at all. It's just like, yeah, let's go save the world.
Actually, we didn't have any interaction with Brand or his pack. Charles was mentioned in passing because, you know, when he was talking to the goblins or whatever, and they were like, Brand collected this stuff. He stole this stuff. And
which we saw in Burning Bright.
Yeah. And, you know, they told Adam, are you here to do this? And Adam goes, you know, he would not send me to get anything. And they're like,
send Charles.
Oh my God. Like, no. Like, they instantly were like fearful. Like, oh shit, the boogeyman.
Because, yeah, Charles is the fucking boogeyman of the world. Yeah. Not just the werewolves, but everybody.
Which is so funny, because when we see kind of from him, you know, from their story, I'm like, he is the softest teddy bear on the inside. Like,
he is the biggest teddy bear. He just wants to play music and sing and have sex with his wife. Like, he's just...
It's so crazy.
Cutie.
The dichotomy of him. Like, he's ripping and killing people left and right. And then he's like, let me just sing my songs and sing with my wife and just be nice and calm. It's so crazy.
It's so crazy. Yeah. So cute. So crazy.
Yeah, but that was as close as we got to Bran in this book.
Which I was surprised. I really thought we were going to see a lot more. At the very least, like, have a phone call from Mercy to Bran being like, hey, we're going to be in Montana. Nothing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she went with the intent of helping her brother, and I'm not sure if she would want Bran's help in that in any kind of way.
Well, not even like asking for help, but just being like, hey, we're leaving the Tri-Cities, we're entering your territory, because his territory is Montana. And I thought it'd be more of like a polite call to be like, hey, we're passing through. if the world ends, sorry.
Sorry, our
maybe
bad.
send Charles.
Our bad.
Like, I thought there'd be at the very least that, but there was nothing, and I was shocked.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it would have been nice to have a little bit, being that they were even mentioned. Like, are they going to pop up in some kind of way? So, that makes me feel like we're not, well, obviously the next book that's coming out is an Alpha and Omega book. So, obviously we're going to hear about this kid then.
Oh, yeah, no, that book is definitely going to be all about the kid because they have the kid. So it's going to be a shit show, which also, in Shifting Shadows, there was the Silver story, which I think we need to read in order to prepare for the next Alpha and Omega book.
Okay.
Because that was all about Winter too.
Well, we need to...
So maybe they're going through something at the same time, and that's why nobody ever called.
So we need to make sure we review that when we do our Alpha and Omega catch up. We're going to do one of those like we did for Mercy for Alpha and Omega. And we'll include that.
Yes.
So when we start doing that, we're going to have some YouTube live reading sprints. So don't forget to follow so you're in the loop when we do that in case you want to join us.
It'll be fun.
It will be
fun. We had so much fun doing it with Mercy.
Yeah, we did.
So there's another scene I really want to bring up for us specifically. And I don't think Patricia Briggs listens to our podcast, but she heard us collectively because you and I complained about this, and I think the whole world complained about this, that Adam is a Republican. And so there was that scene, I think it was chapter 2, where he says he hasn't respected any politician since John McCain.
I instantly rolled my eyes like, you gotta be kidding me.
I was like, okay,
yeah,
that's better than saying he's a Trump supporter. And he does like trans and supports trans people, so good.
I would stab this book with a knife. I'm not kidding. If anything crazy like that came out of this character's mouth, I would instantly feel rage.
Yes. No, I read that and I was like, okay, she heard us. She knows. And so this is her trying to backtrack on that just a little bit because the joke failed. The joke that Mercy was like, oh yeah, he's a Republican, failed in our current climate. So she's trying to backtrack and be like, yes, he respects John McCain because they were the same. And I was like, ew, I don't want to think about them being the same. And also, ew, I don't want to respect John McCain for his politics because fuck that. I respect him as a soldier, and I respect what he did in Vietnam. She's not taking it back,
though. She's not saying, oh, I no longer am Republican, I'm changing. She's not doing that.
He's just like, I haven't respected anybody, so like...
But he's still going to vote Republican.
Yeah, probably.
Don't make me hate him. Don't make me hate him.
I just had to laugh because I was like, she heard us, and this is her trying to backtrack.
No, she's just trying to push the knife in and screw it around a little bit in our sides. That's what she's doing. It's fine. Whatever.
It's fine. It's fine. We still love Adam, but we hate his politics.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was not lost on me. The instant I got to that part, I mean, the biggest eye roll you can imagine. I'm like, oh God.
I was laughing because I was like, okay, yeah, she's trying to backtrack, and this is not making it better. This is not better.
That's the last time we could... Never mind. Never mind. Anyway.
So, question for you. What did you think about that scene from Jesse's point of view?
Which scene was that? Refresh me.
When Tad was telling her not to go to Gabriel's wedding.
Oh, I thought it was interesting. I don't know why she reacted so adversely and dyed her hair back and stuff. I'm like, okay, she obviously feels like seriously upset about this.
She's still in love with him. It's her first heartbreak, but I'm wondering, because Tad said nobody else got an invite. Not even Mercy got an invite. And he said, don't go because this is a trap.
But what
Do you
kind
think
of
she's
trap,
going to
though?
go and get kidnapped and that's going to be a future plot line?
But that's why I was wondering, like, what kind of trap do you think it is? Is he trying to say that it's not him that sent the invitation?
Possibly. Or he's being mind controlled by like a vampire.
Like Bonorata?
Mm-hmm.
Because we know his ass, this whole book is being a pain in the ass.
Yep.
Maybe.
And also, we know that if anything happens to Jesse, Adam's going to lose his shit and burn the world down.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mercy's going to help him.
Hmm.
Or it's going to start the human fae world war destruction of everything.
Okay, wait, let's see. He and I were friends and I didn't get an invitation. He paused and neither did Mercy. She didn't know what to say, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to dye my hair. See you in the morning. Yeah. And he just totally egged her into doing it. Because that's just how she is. So, of course, Jesse says, "You're not the boss of me, Tad."
Yep.
So that
Jessie's usually pretty smart, but she's also an 18-year-old girl.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know. So what do you okay, so do you think that there's something there with Tad and Jesse?
I want there to be. I don't think they're quite ready yet.
Mm-hmm.
But like give it 4 or 5 more years after she graduates college, after she figures out what she wants. I think yes.
Because Tad's currently not with Izzy right now.
On again, off again.
Mm-hmm.
And he
currently
in
on
one
pause.
of the books, he complained about her. He kept going like, before they started dating, he was like, Jesse's bringing around that annoying girl who just laughs and titters at me. And then they were dating. And I was like, Tad, what the fuck? Do you just want sex? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Ooh. I wonder if they're going to have a spin-off book. Because we never figured out why Tad left college.
A spinoff with Tad and Jesse?
And Jesse. Maybe they go to the wedding and shit goes down and they have to save themselves because Tad is a badass and he could save Jesse.
Mm-hmm. He could.
But
I don't know, because I would think that if it is a setup in any kind of way, I would agree with you that maybe it's not genuinely coming from Gabriel, because I don't remember him having that in his personality, although we haven't seen him for a while.
He was a good kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he went to Seattle, and we know that there are some werewolves and vampires in the area. Nobody's super strong, but I feel like he would be the one who would get taken by a vampire and turned into a puppet.
But also, he hasn't known that woman very long.
It's only been like 2 years, maybe.
In the scheme of life, people get married in 2 years. So,
oh, yeah. But he's like 21, maybe 22.
Maybe there's something with her. Maybe she's fae or
controlling him.
Vampire or something. That would definitely lead to her kind of getting him to invite her, Jesse. Because we've never met her yet.
Nope. We've just heard about her. We heard that they started dating a week after Jesse broke up with him.
So interesting. Now, I would be interested in that story. Definitely. But I don't know if we'll get a whole book on it or if it's just going to be another side story going on. If she continues to head hop.
I would rather have it like be a whole story by itself. Because if they head hopped too much in that book, the way they head hopped in this one, I don't think it wouldn't work.
In theory, Jesse could become a werewolf, right?
If she changes and has the strength to change, yes.
Because she could try. And of course, we wouldn't know till she attempted it. But she's so stubborn, I feel like she would get through.
I think she is stubborn and strong enough to do it. especially after we've seen Kara, that 12-year-old girl who
Mhm.
was changed and then now lives with Bran and Asil. Like, if she can do it, Jesse can do
So
it.
the reason why I bring that up is because I can't imagine the author doing any kind of spinoff without that happening.
Oh, yeah. No, it would definitely...
Yeah.
Something tragic would happen and end with Jesse turning.
Right. Because then, like, honestly, then Adam wouldn't have to be on her case 24/7 because she'd be not only with Tab, but she'd also have some strength of her own and a pack to rely on. So she wouldn't be this human that's so delicate and frail and need constant. So I think in order for any kind of spinoff for that to happen, she would have to change pretty quickly into it or already be changed.
I think it's a trap.
Mhm.
I think if Jesse goes, she's going to be mortally wounded and then have to be turned into a werewolf.
Mhm.
And it's going to be the reason why she gets turned,
Mhm.
because Adam would never turn her. Adam wants her to live a normal human life. You know, he doesn't want her to be the beast that he is, because he still hates himself. And that's a whole thing we need to talk about.
Yeah.
But I think that if Jesse was mortally wounded
Mhm.
and the only way to save her was turning her into a werewolf, they would.
See, that's the thing though. If you have to turn, okay, I guess that goes back to other stories that we've heard, like even about like Leia and stuff. Because if you have to be strong enough to manage to turn, how do you turn someone when they're already in a situation where they're not as strong as they normally would be if they're injured
Well, they have to consent
uh-huh.
and then be, mauled and
Well, they
almost
have to
killed and
consent to
turned.
be brought into a pack. That's what they have to
Yes.
consent to. But we know they've changed werewolves without consent. Werewolves in
Yes.
general.
Yes.
So,
But in theory, the rules state you need to, give consent, say, I want this.
mhm.
So this is why, all the humans go to Bran. They're like, I want to be turned into a werewolf.
Mhm.
They have to live there for a month, give their consent, and then they get mauled under the full moon and changed that way.
I almost feel like it might be some other thing. I don't even know if it's going to be a situation where Adam has any authority. What if she comes back and she's changed? What if something happens when she's out and she's changed?
Shit. Adam will burn the world down.
He would try. Unless Jesse kills whoever it is herself. There's no one to kill.
Which she would. She is that strong.
Mhm. There are so many theories there. There's so many things that could happen, but I am confident by the end of this series and before she decides what to do with Jesse exactly, she is no longer going to be human.
Oh, absolutely not.
Mhm.
Jesse is absolutely going to be a werewolf.
Mhm. It's just a matter of time. And then she could deal with Tab for a very long time. They live an extra long time.
Yes.
And they could just be partners in crime or get together or whatever it is. And everyone will be cool with it because they've known each other forever.
Yes.
Which I would be happy
and Tad
with.
is probably part immortal too.
Yeah. Friends to lovers. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. And I think that'll be great.
Yeah. I agree. I'm down for it. Bring it on.
Yay!
We should probably talk about Adam. You said you brought up his beast monster, whatever he's calling him nowadays.
His beast, I think, is more manageable now.
He listens.
Because there was that scene where he was running and he was more wolf and the beast was like, let me take over. And he was like, maybe, but you're scary. But then the wolf was like, no, I'm in control.
Yeah, the wolf said, sit down. And he did. He said, okay,
and
fine.
he did.
Yeah.
So something's happening to his wolf, making his wolf stronger. I think, this beast is kind of stuck here now, but I think he is going to grow to accept it. And because he was talking about how, he was in human form, couldn't do anything to save Mercy. He didn't have time to shapeshift into a wolf. It's his wolf form. But he could have shapeshifted into that beast form. And if he was in that beast form, although he was able to shapeshift into the wolf form very fast because of the magic in the beast and Sherwood and all of these other things that have been happening, But if he'd been in the beast form, I don't think he would have been as evil as he is scared.
Right.
I don't think it would have killed Mercy. I think it likes Mercy. I think it wants to be, quote unquote, part of his pack.
But
even though it's just Adam.
The problem is the beast isn't very logical, basically, is what Adam was saying. Like, he's unreliable. He's like, I think
he needs to give him more time and he will become more reliable because that's who Adam is.
Well, he said he would not let him out without the pack there as backup, right?
Yeah.
He needed
because Adam
others.
is scared. This is his fear. This is Adam's. You know how Mercy won't accept help from anybody. Adam fears this part of him so much that he won't accept any of it. And so I think he's not giving himself enough credit.
I think I kind of agree with that, but I also think it's not unreasonable what he's thinking.
Oh, no. It's not unreasonable, and he should test it out in safer situations and have his pack around to save him, or have like Sherwood there to magic him into unconsciousness if necessary. But like, I think
he just needs practice.
The fear is crippling him.
He needs practice. He needs to get more comfortable and confident about dealing with that other side of him, but of himself. It's really just another version of himself, really. I don't know. It's weird, though, because, Adam's got this weird, he has this power that he didn't even have before. Like, he didn't even know he had it. Like, since he's been working with Z, like, they even talk about how he's able to use the pack bonds in ways he wasn't able to before. So
I wondered if that was some of Mercy's magic leaking through the bonds
into him,
because she's saying she's keeping the bonds tight and nothing is happening, but they're bonded. So I'm wondering if like he's actually getting stronger because he is connected to her and getting some of her magic, even though she's in denial about that,
which is allowing him to do some other things he wasn't able to do. But we know Z is the one teaching him how to do it. Z is helping him.
Z is teaching him how to fight.
See, that's not how I read it. I felt like Z is helping him in a lot of ways. Any ways to become more powerful, and that may not just be fighting. Z knows magic.
Z does know magic.
So Z could be helping him. He's very old as well. So Z could totally be helping him with the pack bonds to use as magic, as well as physically fighting. Because when he fought Bonorata, his physical fight was not enough. He needed something else.
Yes.
And that's what I think Z is helping with, the something else.
Oh. See, I thought it was more physical.
He said the physical couldn't do it. He couldn't beat him physical.
That's true.
He needed something else.
That's very true.
That's my 2 cents on it. What y'all think? Post, let us know what you think. What do you think Z is helping Adam with? In what way?
I mean, it makes sense that he's helping him with magic. I just think Adam was always very strong, and Adam always had a lot of magic, even before he bonded with Mercy. But I think her magic is helping him get stronger.
Yeah, I definitely think I agree with that. There's definitely some kind of boost there, but he's got other boosts. He's got Sherwood lurking around.
Oh, absolutely.
He's got other sources to tap that he didn't have before. And if he learns how to use it, which he didn't know how to do, which is what he's learning, he becomes more powerful.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah.
100%. I agree.
Yay. I mean, Adam is great. He is going to be unstoppable eventually. Yeah.
Love him. Except for his politics. I love that man.
Know. Can we just hit him over the head or something and then just knock that part out of there? Like,
I wish.
But yeah, he's a great character, and he's getting better and better. I really like him. I like all the wolves. I like the dynamic. I actually, I think that might have been a little bit what I felt was missing, is I wanted more wolves. Like, I feel like I gravitate more to the stories about the Fae, the wolves, and even the vampires. And that wasn't this story, really. This story was lore. This story was,
This is an isolated story. This was more about Mercy and Adam together. Because like he said, this is really the first time he gets to go off on an adventure with her. He gets to be her backup. Usually he has to send her off with somebody else. But this time,
we've had that
he
before.
Gets that privilege.
We've had it with Rivermarked. And Rivermarked was more interesting to me. This is not the first time they've been on an adventure together.
Ooh.
Although this is the first time they've been on an adventure on purpose where he's her backup.
On purpose together, yes.
Yeah, where he's like, I'm going to be your backup on this, period. Rivermarked was more like an accident, but he was also second chair on that as well. And it was them, not everybody else.
Well, Rivermarked, we had the whole wedding. So we had the whole pack. We had the whole family. We had all of the cute, fun stuff early on.
Yeah.
And we just got little bits and pieces of pack here. We never saw the pack as a group here.
Mm-hmm. But again, Rivermarked also wasn't one of my favorites. Maybe when it starts getting too into the weeds with curses and I don't know, just
and Ragnarok and the end of the world.
Yeah, just something just didn't hit with me with it. I don't know. But
I will say, whatever book, when I was like, Larry said goblins can lie and that's going to be important. And then these motherfucking goblins lied to her face. And Mercy was like, they didn't lie. But then Larry said they could lie. And I'm like, bitch, yes, they're lying.
Well, she seemed intent on thinking that she could tell that they were telling the truth. And I'm like, why does she think she can tell that these guys aren't lying?
Well, so the one goblin did have to be behind that curtain. But it was still, they can lie. I don't know. There was just something really weird about Mercy where she's like, I know everything. I know this. I know that. I know who's lying. And I was like, goblins can lie. Goblins can lie. That is the truth. That is the truth you should hold on to.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it was the soul taker thing that made her think that she could tell because she was able to kind of look at people and see things. So maybe she was too conceited about her, thinking that she could read people in a way.
Yeah.
That she fucked up. She doesn't know how to. But that's gone now. It's gone anyway.
Yeah.
So back to just a regular smegular.
Yes.
Which is fine. I'm fine with that as well. I'm just glad the soul taker thing isn't like going to continue on for more books. I'm glad for that.
I was worried momentarily at one point that like maybe it wouldn't get resolved in this book, but like this would be the first step in Coyote's plan to like put her on the path, and then she's going to meet somebody, and then the next book she's going to have to go to New Mexico or something to find something. I got worried for a little bit, but I was glad that it got resolved here.
Yeah, we got one thing resolved. We have one thing that's still lingering, which is Bonorata's. So his ass, okay, let's talk about him. He crazy.
Yes.
He's like crank calling her.
I know.
And making her listen to someone get tortured. Like, your ass is rude and crude. What is this? And it's like, she can't even hang up because she thinks it will be worse for whoever it is. Mm-hmm. So she's stuck having to listen to this. I just put him on mute and I leave the phone and walk away.
Right?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so you have this Bluetooth thing in your ear. Just take it out and throw it on the car seat.
Mm-hmm. I'm not listening to that.
Don't listen.
Mm-mm. That was crazy.
Yeah, you can answer the phone and just leave it there, but you don't have to listen to it.
Mm-hmm. She's giving him too much power. It's weird. Like,
she
why?
Is.
And then why hide that from your mates on purpose?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. He knows what's
Here
up.
we go. Even Ben is texting her with his British profanity. Like, bitch, we fucking know.
Yeah, we all know. Cut the crap. Like, what is that? Again, Mercy, again. Like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if there's going to be a future book where she is forced to actually be alone. Kind of like Silence Fallen, except worse. where she's like utterly alone, can't call on anybody, and needs to be reminded that it's okay to talk to people, that it's okay to ask for help. That chewing off her leg to get rid of the pack bonds is bad for her, and she doesn't need that shit. Like, she needs them.
Look,
she doesn't need to be independent.
Whenever she's in trouble, she grasping for those bonds like for dear life. Like, wait a minute. Where they at? Let me find it right now. Someone help me. When she's about to die.
You'd think after Silence Fallen, when she was literally in Europe, far, far away from everybody, couldn't touch her pack bonds or anything, that would have taught her that she needs them. Because what was the first thing she did? She got a Kindle and emailed them and was like, help me, guys.
Yeah. Which is now, I guess, the running joke, you know. He's like, come back. She's like, if I don't, look for me in Italy. Like, what the hell? Like, it's the running joke.
And he's like, you're never going out for eggs again.
Never. That's it. We're done with it.
Anybody else can buy you eggs. You're not allowed to buy eggs.
Uber delivery those eggs or something. No, man. I'm curious to see how we're going to end things with Bonorata. It seems like it's going to be a while, though.
I think it's going to be a while. And it's really interesting how his character has grown because, you know, in Silence Fallen, Stefan and not Marissa, what's her name?
Marsilia.
Marsilia. Yeah, thank you. Marsilia kept saying that he was lazy and tired, and the man they knew before was so much worse. And I was like, well, he kind of comes across as, lazy and weak in Silence Fallen. Now he's like, I'm going to kill you when I want to kill you.
Well, he's got a vendetta now.
Bounties on all of your heads. And I'm just going to prank call you because why not? It's modern technology.
Well, he's got a vendetta. You know, no man likes to be embarrassed. How dare you embarrass me? Now I have to harass you till the end of time. Can't you just get a what do you call it? What do you call it when people go to court and get a order? Stay away from me.
A restraining order?
Yeah, can't you get a restraining order? Like, that's going to do anything, but I guess we'll just see. Because they can't find him. He's like using all the technology tricks where they're unable to trace him.
Also, he can probably, what's the word? Hop, jump, travel.
I know what you
mean. The Harry
mean.
Potter word is apparate, but I don't know the normal word.
Oh, they call it.
That's what Stefan can do.
It's on the tip of my tongue. It's right there. I know what you're saying. Materialize somewhere.
Yes.
Materialize somewhere else. Whatever you call it.
Stefan can do it. I think Marsilia can do it.
But they don't have they can't do it by countries.
No, but he's jumping around between states. Like, he was in Canada, then he was in Montana, then he was in California, then he was, back in Europe. But he can probably, jump in little areas.
Maybe. I don't know. It's going to be a showdown with him. And it's probably going to be Mercy by herself.
Probably. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, whenever that happens. So I don't know. I have no guesses as to what the next book could be about. I feel like I've given up on trying to guess because this guess was so horrible.
I feel like she teased us and then did the bait and switch because she's like, they're going to Montana. It's winter. And I was like, baby. And then she was like, nope. We're not even calling
baby.
Bran. No baby.
No baby for you.
No baby.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess we got to wait for Alpha and Omega for that. But who knows what could happen here? It's a free-for-all. Anything. Okay, anything else? Is there anything else on your list we should cover? Did we miss anything?
Probably.
I'm trying to think. Who else did we have a point of view from? I'm trying to think. Anyone unique or different?
We had one from... Oh, we could talk about Warren's car. Because I still feel like that was not... His anger in Soul Taken still does not match the fact that his car loves him. I hate that. That's what I hate most.
His anger was over the top for what the car is doing.
I thought something much worse was going on. And I think something much worse should have gone on.
Mm-hmm.
But this car thing could have just been a funny subplot.
Instead of.
Like it was here, where Sherwood was like, your audiobook started playing a sex scene.
He had a spicy spicy scene pop up right
Yes.
on the audio where everyone can hear. He was so embarrassed.
Because, yeah, no, that was hilarious and amazing. And I was like, it's not... His anger in the last book does not match the humor with it.
Right. Yeah.
And so I wish something else had happened to make him that angry and soul taken, and that, you know, the car thing was just a funny thing now.
Yeah. Or even if it was because of something else influencing him, which made him overreact to the car thing, like some other explanation would have been good.
Yeah, any other explanation.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's been friends with Mercy for 10 years and easily could have been like, hey, my car's weird, fix it.
Mm-hmm.
She's a fucking mechanic. What do you expect?
Right.
Like, she's a magical mechanic. If she can't do it, Z can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it took him the entire book and Adam, like, forcing him to say, okay, yeah, it's my car that's messed up.
Mm-hmm. It was weird. So I guess we're going to have the car thing is going to be his thing forever now until they find something else for him to be doing or think. I
guess, but I don't know. He should not have been that angry in the last book.
No.
It should have just been funny like this one.
Warren tells Sherwood, he's like, yeah, let me tell you about this car. Let me tell you about my car. You haven't heard this one, have you? No. Yeah, I agree. Ick with the car. But we'll see. We'll see what becomes of it, if anything. Oh, we haven't seen Kyle in a while. We need to see Kyle.
We didn't see Kyle. We talked about Kyle, but we didn't see him. That was sad.
Yeah, I like scenes with them together. We need more of that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I would like to see them off as he's like now, you know, a private eye.
There was one short story. I don't know if it was in Shifting Shadows or somewhere else that she published. But there is one with the two of them. Warren and Kyle. Mm-hmm. They're cute.
They are cute. All right. So I guess we'll go ahead and rate it. As of right this moment, I'm still not exactly sure what I'm going to do for the rating.
Well, I'm giving it a 5-star because I loved it. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was exciting. Yes, there are some issues with Mercy and her independence and Adam and his Republicanness, but like ultimately I felt like we're finally kind of getting back in the groove of things. We're getting to see a much bigger picture of the world. I think she's setting up for a lot of different stories. I think we might get some spin-off stuff. I'm excited.
Okay. So I guess it's my turn. Okay. So I think we don't do halves here. So I'm going to round up. So I think if I were in a position to do halves, this is where a 3.5 would come in. Mm-hmm. But because it's Mercy, just because it's Mercy, I'm going to round up and it's going to get a 4. Mm-hmm. Although this was definitely not one of my favorites, not by a long shot. There were a lot of great things in this book as well, but I just wish it were a little bit faster paced. And there were just a few things I wish were a little different. But this was an important part of the story. It moved the plot forward. It was definitely a necessary book, even though the author did some things differently that she hadn't really utilized in her style before. Mm-hmm. And again, I cannot emphasize enough. Please, God, bring back the male narrator. Please, please, yes. Please, I beg you, bring him back.
Absolutely. That I agree with you. If I had listened to this in audiobook and it was just a female narrator, I would have been really, really annoyed. And I probably would have given it a 4-star.
Yeah.
But I read this, so the voices in my head changed. Right. So that made it easier.
Yeah.
But I fully understand that frustration. And I think, I won't listen to this until it's like the full cast.
I did not even look at who the narrators were because I just expected when I started reading and when I saw, the point of view changes, I downloaded the audiobook because I just expected to hear a man after we got that before. Because prior to now, all these books, with the exception of Silence Fallen, they've all been from Mercy's point of view. Mm-hmm. So when I saw that, I said, yay, I'm going to read the audiobook. And no, not at all. So That's why I'm like sad about that. So yeah, I think we're all on the same page. Please, hopefully someone will listen to us, someone that counts in the decision making, and they will, hear the feedback and they will bring back the male narrator when we are swapping heads. That would be so awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all I got. I got nothing else.
I'm done.
Okay, this has been a great conversation, and I think that I'm even more excited for the next Alpha and Omega book.
Oh, it's going to be good.
Yeah. If you guys are down for that and you're interested in seeing what we think about the road so far in that series, we're going to be doing it. We're going to reread all those books or some combination of the books. I don't know yet exactly. We're going to be doing that. You want to make sure you are subscribed to the podcast. You follow us, on whatever platform you're listening. And turn on notifications wherever you're listening so you don't miss any more Mercy Thompson / Alpha and Omega episodes. And of course, there is a lovely back catalog for you to listen to if you are rereading or doing other things with this series. That's it for today. Thanks again for listening to the entire episode. We appreciate you for doing that. And we'll catch you in the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Did you enjoy today's episode? If so, please head over to Apple Podcast or Spotify and leave a positive 5-star review. It's a simple action that makes a big difference. You can also like this episode on your favorite podcast player or share it with your fellow bookworm friends on social media. Joining the Shelf Addiction Patreon family is another way to support us. For as little as $2 a month, you can help our team create even more amazing bookish content. If Patreon isn't your thing, consider becoming a supporter on the Spreaker app for just $5 a month and gain access to exclusive audio-only content. You can find me everywhere, including Instagram, X, and TikTok under the handle Shelf Addiction. Join our book club of the same name on the book club's website and app, where we discuss all things bookish and more in a safe space. The Shelf Addiction podcast is a part of the Nerdy Maven Network. Thanks for tuning in.